Dry video today, guys, but hear me out. The pour speed and height really changed the clogging. For those that have been here long enough, you might know I've done quite a few videos on the pour height and the pour speed. However, through recent testings, I've actually changed my thoughts on it. It's not agitation that clogs the brew, but it's the force at which the stream hits the coffee that clogs the filter. So we're back at the microfines topic again. I've done a video on microfines in the more recent times and how it tastes bad and why I remove as much as I can before I brew it. You cannot remove all the microfines in a short amount of time, no matter what method you use, whether it's using the static catcher that I've got, a wet towel, or even a sifter. There is no way that you can remove everything. There will always be a little bit left, stuck to the larger boulders. Now, for those that haven't watched the video, I think it's the shell of the beans that face the most damage from the roaster, whether it's the heat, direct heat, the air roasting, or the evaporation of the water from the inside that just damage the crust to the point where there's no flavor left to it. And I think that stuff, when grind, becomes super fine and it just has no flavor and it doesn't taste very good. It's like crackers and lemons. That's really about it. Now, these microfines are what clog the filter up. Now, to dislodge the microfines off the boulders, we need force. The amount of force we have is related to the pour height and the pour speed. The faster we pour, the faster we dislodge it. The higher we pour from, the faster we dislodge it. And when we swirl during the middle of the brew, we're going to be pulling the microfines from the walls of the edges back into the middle, which is why I hate swirling. Now that we've set the terms down, we need to figure out how to balance how much we dislodge when we dislodge it, and that's because the walls of the paper filter tend to have what's called the side channel. That's when the water moves through the edges, but the microfines help us prevent that from happening as much. But at the same time, if we dislodge too much, we're going to be having a really long brew time without having the benefits of having a long brew time. There is really nothing benefiting it because we're not actually getting a much higher of an extraction. It's so minuscule that the time is not worth waiting. So what's important for me is when you're trying to balance the two of them, why don't you just pick one of the two? And in my case, I just like to change the flow rate because it's easy for us to pour from the same height. If we just pour at the closest spot, we never have to change that variable. So the only variable we should be changing is the flow rate itself. Now, I haven't had or found the perfect flow rate. I think at some point in time at the beginning of the brew, we're still trying to elongate the first drip, so we're trying to go for a slower pour. But towards the middle, we can pour at about 6, maybe 7 milliliters a second, and then kind of slow it down. And this is how we're going to control the amount of microfines we're dislodging. So as for the bean types themselves, some beans just have more to dislodge. I haven't actually found the factor that determines how much microfines on the beans. Maybe the smaller beans have more surface area on the outside versus the inside. I don't know, shell versus the interior, whatever it is. Maybe there's more microfines from those. I can't say. I'm not a specialist on this. And so when you're brewing, it's hard to see too many of these details to make the micro adjustments while you brew. One of the key factors I look for is when you grind it really fine and there's really big bubbles that start to come out during the brew itself. That's probably because your grinds are clogging together or clumping together, and those happens to beans that tend to sink a little bit faster or have more microfines that clog the filter. So this is something I've kind of noticed and I've been playing around with it. But if you guys have anything to do with the clogging issue, or you're having over extracted flavors or whatever it is, try playing around with the flow rate. Try to keep pouring as low as you can and just change the flow rate itself to dislodge the desired amount of microfines. So if you guys like this kind of video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, just so you can join my journey of this new discovery process of a new brew method. I'm learning a lot on it. I hope you guys are too. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!